What's up, Hawklings, and what's up, chat? It's your favorite Vermonter from Electric Talk, Sean here. And before we get on with the show, there's something I need to tell you to those in the back of the concert hall and as well as those on the rail. You may always want a bass boosted experience when you're out and about, but you could be a little worried if you flirt with the functions a little too much. You may hurt one of your most important senses, your hearing. That's why us here at Electric Talk are ear-affiliating with Eargasm to give you a nice little deal for those nice little ear holes. We're giving 10% off on Eargasm.com for all of your earplug needs. Now, you're wondering, how are these earplugs? Well, I have a pair of high fidelity earplugs from Eargasm myself. They have helped me tremendously at concerts. They're clear, they're sleek, they look like this. They're little tiny boys. You can cut them down to your preferred size, to a little small ear hole, to a little medium ear hole, and a large ear hole. Eargasm's wide range of earplug models, sizes, and colors mean that Eargasm can be your one-stop shop for all your hearing protection needs. And with festival season upon us, you want to have protection before those PKs do the penetration. So head to Eargasm.com and use our code ElectricHawk. Yes, that is Electric Hawk, not Electric Talk, Electric Hawk. At checkout for 10% off your order. But do you know which earplugs you want to get? Well, you're in luck because you can take the quiz right on their website to find the right pair for you. And once you're done with the quiz, you can use our code ElectricHawk at checkout for 10% off your order. Again, head to Eargasm.com. Use Electric Hawk at checkout for 10% off your order. Tony, Sean, take it away.
I feel like Sharpay every time.
Sharpay.
Welcome back, Hawklings, to the first ever video edition of Electric Talk. Joining us today for this riveting and historical moment in time is the Mousetrap certified, Anthony Tedder managed, just multifaceted and talented producer by the name of Lupa.
Hello.
And as always, my name is Tony.
Hello, I'm Sean. And by the way, that's Walter, if you didn't know. He's going to be famous on the podcast one day.
Yeah, that'll be like Walter Gang, like t-shirts at one point.
Walter Gay. We're going to have audio listeners on this too that don't know what it is. And it's just going to be a giant cow.
It's a squish.
It's Squishmallow.
No, it's an actual
Um,
cow just in your room, just
Oh,
chilling.
I wish.
That would be pretty Vermont of him.
That would be pretty Vermont.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right. So for those of y'all listening at home without video, we applaud you for sticking with us. If you're here watching on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, we want to thank you for sticking with us as well, because either way you're here, it doesn't matter what way you're watching or listening or consuming the media. We just want you to know Lupa more, because one, she's awesome. I've only known her for a brief moment, but I already know it. Two, she's so talented. I mean, even just like, how do you even manage to keep like one aesthetic on an Instagram going for more than a year? I don't know. I can't do it. So she's got me beat there. And three, how do you match your Instagram aesthetic to your house? I mean, like, what economy do we live in to where you're able to do this? She obviously must have another job, or she's just crazy popping off in the music industry. But I want to know, Lupa, do you have to have a side gig right now?
Yeah, I have a very prestigious side gig right now, and that would be Ubereats. I do delivery service, so really, really, I like to think it is in the industry. Honestly, I feel like indirectly it's related. But yeah, I do Ubereats, which is really fun. I also do graphic design on the side. I do a little bit of like creative direction too for like events or for like artists or releases. So that's kind of like what I do, and just how I stay afloat besides from just music. But yeah, I actually love Ubereats. I recommend artists do some sort of delivery, because like I get to listen to my music or just new music constantly. I get to listen to podcasts about music. It kind of keeps me going, and I can make money while also, expanding my mind.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. I used to be a pizza driver in high school, and that was the greatest gig ever. I mean, partly because I was selling weed to the people that would order the pizzas, but like also, it was just like super cool getting to choose kind of like how you work, like how you, like once you leave the store, you're on your own. Whereas like Uber Eats, like you're always kind of on your own unless you're like in the store. But I mean, let's be honest, Uber Eats people, you just get to walk up to the front, say,
Yeah.
I'm here for Uber Eats. And they're like, oh
I'm
guys,
here
we're
for-
paying you guys money. We have to give you the food.
I did actually work at a pizza place this summer,
Wow.
for like the summer, which was really, really fun. I think I ate way too much pizza. Like I would eat pizza maybe like 4 times a day. I just would bring back an entire pizza and just eat it. I never bought any food for like the entire summer. I just ate pizza and mac and cheese bites.
That's what it's all about.
Nice.
It was a great time.
Was it like
Actually, it was fun. I worked with like my best friend
Was it
too.
a-
So we just like have fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I worked at my pizza place with one of my best friends. We worked at a Subway in the same shopping center like earlier in the year, like down the way, and they like fired us both because the managers were like stealing money or something. How do you embezzle from like one Subway location? I don't know, but
I've had that happen before.
they were
too.
embezzling and they like blamed it on us, and we were like what? We're just here so we could like smoke weed at work. Like, like we don't need your Subway cash. Like we didn't even have codes to open the register. Like we were like, ask us our codes. Like, what is our code? Like, what's your code? We're like, we don't have them. So then like we got fired and then worked at Papa John's down the way.
Like beef with like Subway, Papa John's would just like feud constantly. Then you would walk
Oh
by.
yeah, like I would like if our dumpster was like full, I would like deliberately walk like half a mile like down that shopping center in the back area,
Oh
and
wow.
just throw an untied garbage bag all over their dumpster.
Yeah, as you should.
I'm evil though. I'm not a great person. You should not model after me. I know I'm here,
That's-
and you should think I'm a good person, but like I'm not sometimes.
I don't think that makes you a bad person. I
No,
think that's fair against.
I'm
from what-
just so petty. It's like ingrained. I don't know if it's because I'm an only child or like I've just been around so many sleazeballs, but like I just get so catty.
Now, Tony, do
I
you
wouldn't
think?
have expected that. I just met you, but I wouldn't have expected that from what I've known about you. I wouldn't. That would not be the first word that I would use to describe you.
Oh, that's
Catty.
nice.
Tony, did you think that the tuna at Subway was real?
Oh, dude, I've never liked tuna. Oh God,
Oh, really?
no. Like my girlfriend sometimes will get tuna and make like seaweed, like sushi rolls with tuna because she's like all artsy and do it like can do stuff like that. I like make pizza rolls and like put them in a heart, and I'm like, this is cute. But yeah, she makes tuna and I'll eat it, but smelling it is disgusting. I can't do it.
Like canned tuna? Like she makes like
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
No, yeah, she gets like the shredded tuna, and she'll just like cook rice in the rice cooker, get seaweed wraps, and then just like wrap it all together, put sriracha in there, I think maybe a little bit of mayonnaise, I don't know, and I don't know, just like little tuna rolls that she eats before work or whatever, and they're pretty good. And I'm pretty picky. She's also just like really good at cooking, so it's not fair.
That's not fair.
All right, so I'll do
Enough
one.
about tuna.
We'll do one miscellaneous question, and then we'll dive into music because not only is Lupa possibly your DoorDasher in Arizona, but she's also this badass techno DJ. So we'll get to that, I promise. So what is your favorite food? Like if you like, is it like when you go home and your mom makes it or whatever, or is it like you just love McDonald's fries? What is it?
I have like two favorite foods. I think sushi is the number one. Any really kind of sushi, as long as it has like, it doesn't have like cream cheese in it, or like, I don't know. I don't really like cream cheese in sushi personally. I like just fish. I love that. Not too picky about that. And I also love like pesto pasta, or like really just like any type of pesto, anything.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I love it. I think it's so good. I love it. It's something about it. It's just, it has to be well made. Like you can't have bad pesto, but like when it tastes good, it like is the shit.
Pesto is really good. And
I like it.
I know they have like I think Trader Joe's has like the little like glass container of pesto, which is so good.
Oh my
Cream
God.
cheese, on the other hand, it could go. It's well on bagels, not in
Good on
sushi.
bagels, not on
Not in
sushi.
sushi.
No. If I don't want like, I mean, I like cream cheese and like smoked salmon really a lot.
Yeah.
But like when you put rice in there, I don't know, and seaweed, like the three of those together, like that just, it doesn't add up in my opinion. I've had some good rolls with cream cheese in it before, but like I'd never like go out of my way to order it. I always just want the like sashimi or like just like basic like tuna roll, you know, like that's what I'm here for. That's what I love.
What kind of sashimi though?
Honestly, anything. I don't really like squid necessarily. I'm not a huge fan of octopus, but I actually have right now, I have some eel sashimi that I got that's saved in my I guess it's not really sashimi, but it's just like slabs of barbecued eel. So sold as sashimi. So I have that in my refrigerator right now. That's gonna be lunch. But I also really just like salmon, mackerel, tuna again. Not the canned stuff, but the actual like slabs of it.
Well, that's cool.
Oh wait, they sell slabs of tuna.
You know what I'm talking about? Like those, I don't know how to, the cuts, the like little like sashimi. You know, like the,
yeah.
So it's like not with the rice, but like just like the fish. I love that, and I've heard it before, and people are like, "Why are you getting that? Like that's not the good part of the sushi, but it's my favorite part of the sushi." So.
Well, now you could make sushi with olive oil, like with salt, without salt. They have like 800 different cans of tuna for like whatever flavor you want, and it like I just get it with water.
Yeah.
Or whatever is in the can.
Well, like you can buy like the actual like cuts of tuna too, and so that's what like they do for the sushi that I really like. I really like those types of cuts. My dad's like a huge like cook, like he loves cooking, and he always cooks fish, and he just has these amazing like tuna cuts that he'll make sometimes. Like I don't know, you can get like there's like they call it like tuna towers sometimes when you go out, and they're like just literal like towers of tuna. I don't know why we're talking about tuna so much, but
I've worked at a lot of sushi restaurants.
Again,
I've taken a lot of ahi tower.
Ahi
orders.
tower, that's what they're called. Ahi, that's the word.
I wish I knew more about sushi.
Yeah, artist hospitality, like venue hospitality right now, it's just like taking notes. They're like, like, what was that second type of fish she likes? Shit. Yellowtail?
Yeah.
Not yellowtail.
On my rider, I'm gonna put the tuna tower on my rider.
Yeah, tuna tower on my rider. Let's go.
That'd be so cool though. Like imagine you're at the point where you just get to walk into the green room and there's just a fucking tower of tuna and like mayonnaise and wasabi sauce. Oh,
okay,
I'm
no,
hungry.
I don't want to talk about that because it makes my stomach upset.
That's okay.
Mayonnaise and tuna tower.
Mayonnaise, tuna, and all right. Let's move on to music now.
All right, so you mentioned before you were pizza delivery last summer. Now we've got. I saw it was. I don't know. It was some point last year. You said you were starting to try to get into more of graphic design and like videography and stuff. So you feel like you're pursuing that passion. It sounds like. So I want to bring it back to music and writing about music. So I heard that you are writing for Relentless Beats in Arizona. How did that happen?
To do that. I used to do that back
Gotcha.
like 2 years ago now. But yeah, I was a blogger for a year and a half, I believe. I'm not sure. But I wrote like over 100 articles for Relentless Beats, and it was an incredible experience. I studied music. I had one of my majors was music, and so I wrote about music constantly anyway. And around that time, I'd really gotten back into electronic music, and I was like, I want this to be my life. Like, how do I get involved into the local scene? So I started connecting with people through social media. And then also I saw that Relentless Beats was hiring bloggers, and like you could write a certain amount of blogs and, you get shows, whatever, you can go to shows. And I was like, well, that's perfect because I go to shows anyway. I don't want to spend my own money. And I love writing about music. I love talking about music. So I did that. And this was really when I started producing music, was around the time I was a blogger as well. I think I was actually a blogger for a bit longer than I was a producer. Like I started it before. But yeah, that was a really cool experience, just being able to write about things, about really anything you wanted. I really liked writing about like albums. I have Varian, if you know who she is. She had an album that came out, I think it was like I believe it's called the Second Industrial Revolution. I believe it's not industrial. No, I can't remember the name of that album, but it's an incredible album. And I got to write about it. And I remember writing, it was like a 10-page like blog or, Word doc of just about this album. And that was an incredible experience for me, just being able to, talk about my the music that I'm liking and why I like it, and why it's significant. Also about like the history of music too, which was super fun because then I got to deep dive into the history of certain genres or certain artists or even certain venues.
And are you still doing stuff with them today?
No, I'm not. I stopped blogging because I really wanted to focus on music. I was also DJing. I started DJing at the time. And so I just wanted to focus 100% of my energy on that. I love blogging. It's a very demanding thing to do, especially like if you want to be, if you want to keep making stuff, it takes so long to write, like it would literally take me an entire day to write a piece. So I just wanted to use my time a little bit better, but I do enjoy. I still write. I don't obviously blog anymore, but I still like my notes app is just full of like rantings about random things. But yeah, I really loved that experience. That shaped my career, and also just like it solidified my ability to write too, just about music. How many words you have synonyms for lush, that you can use.
Synonyms for
and wubs.
Yeah, and like wubs, yeah, the
angelic.
Pluck, I think was probably my most used word. Pluck, airy. But it also made me a better producer. Like talking about music and why I liked, why I liked certain songs, what about it I liked. Also, I think there was like a few times where I'd write about like campaigns that artists would do. Like there was a Swedish House Mafia campaign that they did before they announced their album that was kind of like teasing it. This was a really long time ago, like not a really long time ago, but way before the album was even announced, but they're teasing it. You know what? It wasn't Swedish House Mafia. It was Staffelstein. And it was his EP that was coming out. And it was cool to like research what he was doing to, he had these like artists come in and like draw his logo in like certain places in Paris or in France. And then also in New York and LA as well. And it was really cool to like learn about that. And I had to like go on Reddit and like find like, the Gestafelstein, Reddit on there and like see where people had been taking pictures of them. And I had to do like my own research, which was super fun and really inspirational.
Yeah. Do you have a piece besides like the Gestafelstein and the Varian piece that you like say it's like your piece of resistance, or like the one article that you hold close to yourself because you know like that's your whole heart, you poured your whole heart into those words?
I think probably it would be my Varian piece, to be honest with you. I loved that album alone. And Varian is such an incredible woman. So I just was so inspired by her music anyway. So it felt like not only did I get to write about this incredible album, but I felt like I was like writing about, someone who I care about and someone who I really look up to. So I think that's kind of like my favorite piece I did. I also had some like incredible words that I like put together. Like, I don't know, I had some like, I don't know, I was really clever with like my writing for certain parts of it. So I was super excited about that. But yeah, I'd have to like go back and like see which ones. There were some pieces that I did were just like, oh, like this artist is releasing a song. This is about the artist, not really like anything super intense, but I definitely had some articles that were a little bit more, I put a lot more effort into things that would literally take me like a week to make just because I was re-listening to an album over and over again.
Oh yeah, I feel that. I mean, I definitely feel like blogging is just a great way to get involved with the scene. So I'm assuming that this Relentless Beats era was after your study abroad.
Yeah, this was
right?
after that.
In London. So I would like to circle back on that later on. You've answered so many questions about it on the internet. I'm not gonna if people know who you are, they know that you probably went there. So I'm not gonna like spend a whole lot of time of it, but we will cover it just so people are aware. But that brings me back to like someone asked me the other day, how do you think I should like get involved as a photographer or a videographer in the EDM scene? And I was like, okay, one, I don't know if I'm at the point where you should be asking me. Two, wow, I used a lot of lists today, number of lists. But two, I was like, just get involved with like some sort of publication or something. Like there's always one starting. There's always ones like looking for writers because like, I won't get into that. I had a bad thought there for a second. But I mean, like they're always looking for people to share their feelings and stuff about music and how it touches them. And so I was just like, dude, just write some words and like tell them that you like to take pictures and see like what they could do. Like maybe they can get you into like rhythm night every Thursday and like you just take pictures at rhythm night every Thursday for like a couple months, and maybe like big rhythm artist hits you up. I don't know. It was a bad example, but he was like, thanks, bro. And I was like, I got you, dog. But yeah, I think being in that scene, like not only do you just like pay attention more to stuff, like you kind of have to be on like Twitter all the time and like seeing what everyone's talking about, or like what's hot right now, or like what's the running joke that I can like bring into this that has nothing to do with that. Like Chainsmokers are ghost produced, like, oh, like this guy's not ghost produced, I'll make that the article title, like stuff like that. Like you kind of have to be like super immersed into it, whereas like being an artist, like yeah, you have to pay attention to what other people are doing or cool like producing tips or whatever the fuck, but like I feel like you can definitely like sit and hunker down in like a basement and just like write music for 6 months rather than like write blog articles for 6 months. So they can't do it. So that's super cool that you were like that involved. That I did not respect you, but I respect you a lot more after that because it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and I really, my favorite part was writing about my friends, and actually shout out to my friend Snacks, but he actually wrote an article about my EP when it came out on that blog. And I remember reading it and like actually like crying, and I was like, oh my god, like if someone told me that like I would be like releasing that, there would be an article about me on that blog, like, and like have it from like on Mousetrap, like I would have been like, yeah, no, you're wrong. Like that would never happen.
Like, so that did you really come from another timeline?
Yeah, like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I remember like seeing it, and I was like, oh my god, like that actually happened. And he's like a super good friend of mine. I highly recommend you check out his articles. He has incredible articles on there as well. But yeah, definitely like blogging is so important. I got to write about my friends on there too. And it just felt like I was really contributing to the scene. You know, I wasn't necessarily getting paid, but I was getting paid to go to shows. I got to interview some artists, which was really cool. And I just felt like I was a part of something. And people do read articles. You know, I read articles. If there's a, you know, if a blogger, you know, writes about my music, of course I'm going to read it and share it, you know. And that's just me personally, but I think so many artists are like that. And I think it is important to keep kind of the blog culture alive. And that's how I think it really is a part of like a really important part of like modern electronic dance music culture.
Definitely.
I agree, because a lot of artists, I don't know if they take it for granted, but there's like so many times where you're writing a song and then it doesn't get the love it deserves or something like that, like from an artist that you wanted to. But at the end of the day, still okay. But still, like, you want that acknowledgement that you wrote something from your heart about them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's also good, I think, like putting things out there on just like the internet in general, because I think a lot of electronic music is hard to document. And so I think it is really cool to have this part of, this culture exist on the internet, and like you can look back and look at the archives and look like at people first talking about dubstep for the first time, or first talking about rhythm or whatever it is. You can look back and see how these genres kind of started from these blogs. And so that's a really interesting part as well, as it does keep a good record of a genre that's extremely hard to track because it's such a vast genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people forget that Run the Trap is not just a joke. They literally ran the trap for like a while.
Dead ass.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of blogs, though, I know you had an interview with us in 2020, Electric Hawk. You interviewed with us, and going back to that, you said that Rez was a huge inspiration to you and your music. Is that still true today? And are there any other artists that give you inspiration today?
Yeah, I think the reason like I said that then, and I couldn't really like figure it out, but like it was literally like I had never seen like a woman like lead like that. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like when I was like young, I really wanted to get into music production. I really wanted to be a DJ. But like all of my favorite artists were dudes. And like it's not like, oh, like they're guys, so like I can't produce because of like my gender. But I was just like discouraged from it because I was like, oh, like it's just not really something that like I don't know, it didn't feel right. For the time I didn't feel like I was a part of that space. I felt like I could enjoy it, but I didn't feel like it was like mine to own. And seeing artists like Rez specifically, because I think she was kind of like the first like female artist who I really looked up to within dance music as a whole. And I just was so inspired by her sound and just the amount of music she has and just how diverse it all is. It's super inspiring to me. But yeah, I think I think it was really cool to see someone like me on stage, because I'd just never seen that. But yeah, I think nowadays I have a very like long list. There's so many artists I'm inspired by. Like I think I like every artist I listen to, I'm inspired by. Rez is a big one for me. A lot of like non like techno artists I think are really inspirational to me. I listen to a lot of techno, but I feel like it's more than just about like the actual like music itself, but also like the brand image or like what they look like, what the aesthetics are. I'm super inspired by that. I was a design major as well, so I'm a nerd for like all things like that are visual, like visually appealing. And Gustavo Stein's obviously a really good example of that. He's a huge inspiration for me. On the techno kind of like side of things as well, I think visually I Hate Models as well is a huge inspiration. But yeah, there's so many artists. I mean, I listen to ungodly amounts of music, and every time I listen, I'm like I don't know, I was listening, like I've been joking around about it, but I've been listening, there's like a hardcore like polka edit that I've been listening to a lot, and I'm like, damn, I'm inspired by that. Like I want to like incorporate polka music into my music. Like so
Yeah,
I think it's a very like hard thing. Like I really am inspired by so much around me.
That's super cool. I mean, I definitely feel like techno is a genre where I would imagine someone needs to kind of feel more diverse in their taste, or at least what they're like letting go into their ears, more than like someone that just like plays rhythm. I mean, we're kind of shitting on rhythm kids this episode. It's okay. This episode's sponsored by Mousetrap. But but I think it's important to listen to a bunch of things in techno because like there's just like so many, one, different versions of techno, and two, another list, and three, talking about the list made me forget number 3. Never mind. I shouldn't have spoke up.
Too many lists.
I just feel like techno uses a lot of like different like pulls from a lot of different spaces, like whether it's like vocal chops for like a short sound clip like before the drop or whatever, or before transition, anything like that. But
it's such a huge genre, and there's so much within it too, and that's something that was super attractive to me going in it, is like, wow, people are like really getting experimental with this genre. And so like, I want to do the same. I want to kind of like see what's new. Like a good example of that is like Mark Dakota. I always talk about Mark Dakota in interviews for some reason, but Mark Dakota is a great example of this. And he does like live instrumentation in his techno, and it sounds like cinematic, like Marvel music. Like, I don't know if you know what I mean, but like those like big, like loud drums and like crazy, just like super cinematic sounds. And he uses that in his techno, and that's not like unheard of. Like, that's not never been done before, but he does it in such a unique way where he's incorporating kind of like psytrance into it too, you know, during the drops. And I was just so inspired by it. And that's one thing I'd like recommend people to do, is not like be afraid of the genre. Obviously like learn the roots of it and like understand where it comes from. But I think that like being able to kind of mess around with it and kind of like find, you know, your version of it, because it's such a powerful genre. It's such a beautiful genre.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like we all, myself included, I started out like as dubstep kid, and then when I evolved like from 2016 to now, I've just been like so many different genres of music I've been exploring, and techno is one of them. And you know, you never really get to hear techno unless you're like you want to go to a show, like a very underground show, to it's probably at like a stage or at a festival, EDC or something. And like, it's hard to find it still. And I could say the same with house music, because I feel like the techno scene needs more of a, you know, like more like a push.
I think that with techno, it's a very because it's such an old genre, and because it's such a, you know, it was like literally one of the first genres of dance music. A lot of people take it like very, you know, really want to protect it, and it's like a baby to a lot of people. You know, like, I don't want anything to happen to this, and that's totally fair. You know, I think that you're allowed to be purist, especially if you've been in the scene since like the 90s. I think that you do deserve the right to be purist. However, I do think that it is important to, you know, kind of see what you said, like festivals, you know, seeing it at festivals. I think that is important, because I think it is such an important genre. I do want people to be a part of it, because I remember when I first heard it, I was like, what is this? Like, when we were talking about like in London, like, I don't know, it was just, the beat is just so unique. And just like that like pounding kick with like in that certain range of BPM, where it just feels like, I had a friend tell me, it was like, it's like horseback riding music, because it's like that type of like beat that's like, it feels like it's like a horse running kind of. And so
it's addictive.
Yeah, it is very addictive. And you know, I'd obviously heard it before, but experiencing it live is a totally different experience. It's so much more intense. And I think like dancing and just enjoying the moment with techno is really where I fell in love with it. And so I think that like it is hard to get involved into like techno scenes. And like, you know, it is very underground at times. But I think that that's kind of where the best stuff is, you know, like you have to work for it sometimes. And I think that, you know, I used to love bass music as well. I still enjoy bass music, but you know, the best bass music is underground, in my opinion, like most things. And I just, that's just something that I've learned, is you kind of have to work for the music sometimes, and you have to figure out, like, you have to create dig really. And you have to find weird little subgenres. You have to, you know, find different artists who collabed with this artist, who worked with this artist once. And the next thing you know, you're like, you found this like, incredible collective of artists who have been consistently releasing bangers the last 10 years. So it's like takes time, and I think that's where it's worth it.
And they have like less than 1,000 like SoundCloud followers.
Oh, obviously,
it's crazy.
And they're based in like Brazil or something. You're like,
come to Brazil.
It's like something so funny.
God.
So
I want to bring it back to something that I saw in an interview from last year, or the year before. So, are we still listening to Russian hard bass?
Ooh, that's so funny because I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, what am I gonna? Because I know in interviews people always have to go, "What are you listening to?" Because that's like the most obvious question. And that's that. I literally was like, well, I could say that. I forgot that I'd already said that though. So thank you for reminding me.
No, yeah, you're welcome. I don't want non-original answer. You can't recycle things.
Yeah.
But I only asked because one of my friends got like super obsessed with Russian hard bass for like a solid year during COVID.
Ooh.
And so we would be on Discord like, every day because no one's doing shit. And he would turn on like the music bot and we'd just be listening to like Suka Black, like whatever for like hours.
Yeah.
And they like started playing this like Russian shooting game that like a bunch of people started playing, and so like they'd be listening to this like game where like everyone's screaming in Russian and all this stuff. And like they're also listening to like Russian hard style like rap. Basically.
I'm super inspired by Russian like culture and like Russian.
Yeah. They like don't care at all. Like they just throw that stuff out there, throw like $3,000 at like a music video and post that crap and like never worried about it.
I love it so much. During the pandemic, I actually like during like the actual like shutdown the first few months, I met some tattoo artists. I don't even know how this began, but I met some tattoo artists who are from Russia, and we actually collabed on a few pieces together. And I hired a few of them. And they would send me music like Russian, like techno, and I would send them American techno, and they would send me Russian rap, and I'd send them American rap. And we had this little like exchange going on. It was really cool. But I didn't really think much of it, and I really liked the stuff. But then a few months ago, like 6 months ago, I started really listening to like Russian music again. And I just got so into it. I think that like a lot of like the production quality is just the production's so unique because it's really just like taking these American sounds, like these kind of like 2010 like Hardwell and like I don't know, like Martin Garrix kind of sounds, and then just like being like like totally ignoring all the rules, and just it's crazy. I don't even know how to explain it, but you've heard
it gives me like Gangnam Style vibes.
It's wild.
It's like
but
what
it's
North Korea would like take from like our hard dance genre.
Right.
Like I don't know, it's a very unique like approach to music because I feel like it's such like a different, it's very like inspired by American or like I guess European like dance music. But it's also completely different. It's such a unique genre. I love like Russian music. But yeah, Russian hard bass in particular is super fun. I love when there's like rap involved too, like the Russian rap. Something about like Russian rap is just
it's so fast
so
and
good.
Like somehow catchy, and I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, they could literally be talking about like they could have been like talking about like how to make like bread, and I'd be like, yeah, like this is the hardest thing I've ever heard.
You're like,
I'm doing my research now.
All right, so
going on Spotify.
Yeah, there's some good playlists too for Russian hard bass music. I think it's called twonk bass. Twonk, right? I think that's what it is. I think it's called twonk bass.
I'm gonna listen to it on my way to work.
Grills
this will like hype. I don't know. It's insane. I love it. I actually work out to it. Like every morning, I'll like walk around listening to it, and I feel like such a badass, walking around. And
I just found the Russian hard bass remix to Head Splitter by Getter.
Oh my god, that's insane.
All right, so I feel like we talked about a lot of other people's music. We talked about how you've gotten to where you are in music. So I want to talk about what you've been working on recently, the Mousetrap EP that came out last year. And I want to talk about what you're working on now. Yeah,
so like last October, I released Insatiable, which was honestly like my favorite body of work I've created. It was my debut EP. And that was really cool to release, like insane. Mousetrap was literally like my dream label. Like when I started producing music, I was like, I'm going to be on that label one day. So that was really cool to like see that come to fruition. I've really never had that like happen to me before. Like I've always worked hard for things, but I've never really seen myself go, I want to get this, and I do. So that was super inspirational. And also just like Mousetrap in general, they're great people there. And I was super honored to work with them regardless of my dreams. But yeah, so I released 4 songs, technically 5. on Insatiable. And some of them were like vocal records. I had 3 vocal records on there, and I had one just kind of like instrumental piece. Instrumental meaning like techno without vocals, which isn't, I guess, instrumental in the slightest. But yeah, so right now I can't necessarily talk a whole lot about what I'm doing, but I have some stuff that's very similar to, you know, Insatiable. A lot of vocal records that I've been working on. But I really like, I've always really been into like granular effects and like granular synthesis, not to be a nerd about it right now. But this body of work that I'm working on right now uses a lot of that. And I actually spent a lot of time with like the actual sound design of certain sounds in the songs that I'm working on right now. And I'm really proud of them. Like I would mess around with Portal specifically because it's my favorite plugin of all time. And you know, I also, you know, mess around with just like random things here and there. Like I don't even know what I'd put on certain tracks, but I'd get these like crazy sounds. And I'm just really proud of it. I was really proud of my last EP, but this one feels different, as you know, as it should. It feels a little bit more like raw to me. I feel like the other one I was trying to be like polished a little bit. I feel like I was trying to kind of hold myself back. But I feel like this one is a little bit more, there's certain elements that don't necessarily like sound good. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to put some kind of like weirdness in it, in my own way. It's not going to be like Death Grips, but it's going to be cool.
Did you have any nerves when you pressed that send button to Mousetrap on your Insatiable EP?
It's funny that you said that because I actually wasn't going to originally. I wasn't going to send them music. My friend inspired me to. I'd like told her, I was like, she's like, well, like what, like I showed her these songs and I was like, yeah, I really like these songs, whatever. And she's like, yeah, these are really, really good. But she's like, well, where are you going to send them? And I was like, send them. Like, I'm not going to release these. I had like released music in the past, obviously, but I hadn't released in like a pretty long time. And I was so discouraged from my last release, which was literally like in the middle of the pandemic. I was like, it got like no streams and I was like so sad about it. And I was like, no one cares about me anymore. Like, I don't want to release music. But I realized like, you know, why not? I was really scared to, not because like, oh, no one's going to like it, but I just thought I could do better. But I really liked the music that I had, you know, there was nothing wrong with it. I'm just such a perfectionist. And, I don't know if it was nerves, but I feel like, I mean, I think it was definitely nerves. It was just more of like me really taking the first step in my like music career and putting myself out there. And I had put myself out there before. I'd play shows, I had released music, I'd done self-releases, but I never really wanted to, you know, release on a big label until, you know, I felt really, really confident in myself. So that really like encouraged me to just fully send this, you know, and it was definitely nerve-wracking. And I had a few breakdowns like before I sent it. But it turned out okay. So that's good.
I mean,
I would say so.
Yeah, we all get messages of denial every day. I mean, we do on the podcast. I'm pretty sure so many artists, and it takes a whole lot of no's to just get that one yes. And you know, that's literally like the drive of the music industry: sending emails and waiting until you get that yes.
Yeah, and I was just so nervous because I think really what it was for me was I didn't see myself as ready. I'm such a perfectionist and I just put so much pressure on my music and like on just like me being, you know, just on everything about my life. I really just want to make sure that I'm portraying a good image and that I'm, you know, being able to be the best person I can. And, you know, making the best music I can. And I did believe that with my music, but I was really just nervous that, you know, they were going to be like, this is the worst song we've ever heard, you know, and like send it to everyone. No, do not, you know, they weren't going to do that. But that was like my worst fear was like that they would just say no, which is not even like not scary. Yeah. So it was hard though, because I started this like in, like I always tell people, but I literally started like this Lupa project like in my dorm room. And so it's still so weird, like that, like it goes outside of the room. Like this Lupa project, I'd like go to class and I'd work on my class and I'd come back and all of a sudden I was Lupa again and I was making music. But like outside of my room, I was never Lupa. You know, I was never a music producer. I was just some girl in college. So it was kind of like recognizing like, hey, like I can do this and my hard work is paying off.
Speaking of hard work, congratulations on graduating. I
Thank
saw
you.
that post. Like, it's hard to just go to school and like it's a mental toll. And you know,
I mean, our generation going to school is a whole other like social experiment. It's insane doing like a whole project on it. But I'm in my last semester right now, and it's hell.
Yeah, it's a lot. I went to ASU, and I still live in Tempe, right next to ASU. And I loved it. I actually loved going to college. I am a huge nerd. I actually love studying. And so I had a good time. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it was hard, but I had like 2 different minors and 2 different majors. And I love just like I told you, I'm a nerd. I love learning little like facts. So I actually really enjoyed it, but it was a lot of work, especially like balancing, you know, music and my social life and like everything else, you know, and like academics and like other, you know, responsibilities that I had and a job. And it got very like chaotic, but I really like miss those times too, you know, because I think that it was really important for me to learn how to like manage my time. And it was fun, like feeling like, you know, really wanting to go back and like make music like really badly while I was in class. You know, it kind of pushed me to keep going and to do well. So I really did like value that time as a student and a music producer at the same time.
Nice.
Well, that's
and
crazy.
I mean, I full-time job over here now, but like I having looking back at school when I was in like from 2017, I'd missed so much, like just being with friends and having fun, and now like working 40 hours a week sucks.
I miss it too. I miss like I don't know. I miss college a lot. I miss like my freshman and my sophomore year. 'Cause I lived on campus, so I was a little bit more social. But I miss that a lot. It was super fun, just like living next to like your closest people. That was incredible. I love that experience a lot. It's hard like balancing it, you know, now. I don't necessarily have a full-time job right now, but I have friends who have full-time jobs and it's even hard to like get a hold of them sometimes.
Oh yeah, totally agree with that. I want to go back to, you know, the whole Mousetrap EP, because you also mentioned in our interview in 2020, it was a dream, like your dream label to release. Fast forward a year, you released it. Now in 2022, back with Electric Talk actually. Have any of your goals changed? Do you have new goals that you set for yourself?
I have like goals, like music related goals, but I don't necessarily have like a goal like that where I'm like, I'm going to release on this label. I think that was kind of like, I don't know. I think that was unique. I have like little goals here and there. Like I'd love to do merch, you know, in like the next like year. You know, I would definitely want to play like a festival, like an out of state festival, things like that, little things here and there, but nothing huge. Most of like my like big goals, like I'd love to do an album eventually. I think that's kind of like my big thing right now. But nothing like specific like that. Yeah.
But you really spoke that EP into existence when you did.
Yeah, I did. So if I had to say something, maybe like I don't know, maybe I'll say like a Staffelstein collab, but I don't. That's very low. That sound. If anything I say on here does come true, I'll just put it out there just in case. So if I have something.
If it happens, we might be like,
oh yeah,
some kind of lucky coin or something.
He's gonna hit me up right after this. He watches this and he's like, "Wow, let's do it."
My dream for you is to open like the techno stage at EDC, because I could see that.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. I would love that. I think that would be huge for me, especially like EDC, because I've actually never been to EDC. And I've really always wanted to go. So that would be really, really cool. Yeah, that's a really cool. I think festivals, because I've never played at a festival. I've gone to a bunch of festivals, but I've never played at one. Just like shows. But
Promoters, we're looking at you right now because I'm very
get
disappointed.
your girl up. I just require a tuna tower. That's all I. That's all
Her rider is so simple. Like she doesn't even need like travel.
Don't pay me,
costs.
just
Tuna tower.
Don't pay me, just tuna.
Oh my god!
No, really, don't pay her in fish though. Like we take dollars.
Yeah.
Not
fish.
Bitcoin.
Just to clarify.
We're rocking on dollars right now. We'll let you know when it gets tuna time.
Tuna time.
All right,
Let's go.
I don't think we're gonna get any more foreshadowing for upcoming music from Lupa. So
I'm gonna be secretive about it.
exactly, as you should. Information is priceless in this era.
Definitely.
So we're gonna go into some more rapid fire style questions. They're gonna be a little silly. If you can't really think of anything and you're like, why are you asking me this? We'll just move on to the next one. So Sean, you want to do this first one? I know you've been thinking about it all day.
Yes, I have. I've seen that you've been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I saw your team. It looks fire. Now, do you have an ideal Pokemon team?
Off the top of my head,
yes.
I have a list on my notes app of like all the Pokemon that I'd want on my team. Yeah, I actually do. I have a list. I have my 4 Pokemon that I always want to have on my team, and that would be, of course, shiny. I have to include my shinies on there because I am a shiny hunter through and through. But I have a shiny Umbreon is my favorite. I actually have an Umbreon tattoo.
Oh, Umbreon's so good.
I actually have an Umbreon tattoo. Like I love Umbreon. She is my favorite Pokemon. Garchomp is on there. I got my Lycanroc, of course. I couldn't go without Pokemon. And then I got shiny Charizard because I got to go Charizard. He was my first Pokemon ever, so I have to do it. Alola Ninetales, which is kind of a unique one. I was going to include regular Ninetales, but I already have a fire type on my team, so it wouldn't really make sense. And then I believe I have a few others that I pick. I think Lucario is one of the other ones. I don't know how many I've done. I'm just listing Pokemon that I like now. Lucario is definitely on there. Lucario is my favorite Pokemon. And probably Rampardos. I'm just not legendaries, but I love Rampardos. He's really ugly in Arceus. Sorry, Rampardos, but he's like a big I can't remember what they're called, but the Ankylosaurus. No, Ankylosaurus is the tail. I don't know, the ones with the giant heads.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of dinosaur it'd be.
But he looked really cool in Diamond and Pearl when I played it when I was
like on the DS.
But he looks so ugly now. God. It's so sad. So sad.
The 3D renderings now, they're not. Some of them are not the best. Like Abomasnow, you could do better with the scary tree snowman.
I mean, Game Freak did not freak it on the graphics.
Game Freak did not freak it. But
the gameplay looks great though.
Gameplay is always good.
It's so fun. Actually,
I played XP of Darkness, and that was the last free roam Pokemon game, and that was garbage. I mean, it was kind of cool for being 8 years old or whatever, but it was not what we wanted it to be back then.
Yeah, it's such a good game. I really like it. I'm kind of freaking out about this, but last night I was playing and I finished the game, so spoiler alert. But I was gonna catch Cresselia. I think that's how you say her name, Cresselia, and I caught her, and then another one spawned. So I got 2 Cresselias for some reason. I've never ever had that happen to me. So I'm freaking out about that. I want to post something about it and be has anyone ever had this happen? And I didn't get a video of it actually happening, but I have a video of my 2 Pokemon.
Oh my God.
But then also one other thing related to Pokemon, because this is funny, but I actually just saw literally maybe 5 minutes before I went on this. I was flying in the game and I hear the sound of the shiny. And I go down and I'm going to catch it. It's a Kricketot, which isn't that cool, but still it's a shiny Kricketot, and it disappears.
Oh, yeah.
I just turn off my Switch and I just am I'm never playing this game ever again.
The shiny fails.
Plot twist, Sean just finished catching a shiny Kricketot before he got on.
Yeah, it was mine that I rightfully own.
So I started streaming, and I started streaming Pokemon Legends Arceus last week, And on my first time streaming, I caught a shiny Zubat. I was like, yo, and I evolved it all the way to Crobat. I called, because it was green, I called it Riddler, like the Batman, the Riddler.
Is the Crobat, is it green, the Crobat?
No, it's purple. It's like purple with green wings.
Oh.
It's so cool, and it's huge. It's like a giant Pokemon.
I have the Crobat. I had a Crobat on my team, and people were kind of, I mean, they weren't actually upset at me, but like I got some people like, why you have Crobat on your team? And I'm like, it's
Crobat's
a cool
good.
Pokemon. It's a cool Pokemon.
Well, Crobat's been around for a while, hasn't it?
Crobat,
Yeah,
second
Gen 2.
generation.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's because it's Zubat, and people hate Zubat because, you know, it's Zubat.
Well,
but
remember that cave at the end? Oh, which one was that? There was a cave at the end of one of them before. It was like the Victory Cave, or like can't think of it, but like the World Championship like cave before, and there was just all Zubats and Crobats in that cave.
Oh yeah, Victory Road.
yeah, that's Diamond and Pearl, I think, right? Or
Was
maybe
it?
I
don't think I
all-
played Diamond Pearl. I think I stopped at Black and White.
I think they're all in. I think they all have Victory Road. But
Zubat's in every game.
yeah, Zubat's in every game. They're always annoying, but Crobat's really cool. Really cool Pokemon. I love that game. But
It says Crobat is 5'11", 165 pounds.
how
That's
big?
almost me.
5'11", 165 pounds.
Yeah, but the alphas are like 8
Giant.
feet long.
They're
Oh.
huge.
It's
That's
crazy. Yeah, I have a giant Ninetales or an alpha Ninetales that I caught in the Fire Zone. And that thing is giant. And I have a Alola Ninetales too, and next to each other, it's insane. I'm like, this is not the same Pokemon.
I saw a post today that there was like giant alpha Pokemon. Like you had like Empoleon, you had like other alpha Pokemon, and then there's like a little Piplup standing next to it. It's like the size difference is so like amazing.
Yeah, I that's so funny. I love like the tiny like the I had like the alpha like Weedle or not Weedle, the Wurple or whatever, the worm one, and it just looks so
Wormhole.
It's giant. It's like a giant worm. Like if I saw that, I'd be terrified.
Yeah,
I have a phobia of worms.
I have a phobia of insects in general. Like I hate insects.
See, Wurmple's kind of cute because he looks like he has like a form and like
Yeah, but not on
bones.
the size of a dog. That's terrifying. A bug the size of a dog.
Yeah.
Like Heracross is like 7 feet tall when it's an alpha. The hair, the
the horn. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Now, would we all like be able to survive like in a world with Pokemon? Like,
I would. I feel like I'd be like the best trainer in the world. I feel like my life would be so much better if I was a Pokemon trainer. I would kill it.
But knowing like that there's Pokemon like in space and like could come out and probably end our entire existence at any given moment.
But if an 8-year-old can catch God itself,
oh my god!
Yeah. I think that we can. I think that we can manage. Yeah.
All right.
So, did you cry when you watched Pokemon 2000?
Oh, of course, of course.
All right, that's all. That was the one question. So, graphic design, Instagram, it's all in the same aesthetic, black and white. It's kind of like unclear, not a lot of texture, kind of blurry in some parts. Is it the same artist or is it you? Or what's the deal?
It kind of depends. Things are kind of like if it's blurry, it's probably not intentional. Like things like I kind of like, I don't know. I'm actually really not like traditional with my social media. I will just randomly post whenever I feel like it. So I'll go like, I don't know. I'm not the best at that, especially Instagram. But I do spend a lot of time on the internet. And so if I see something, like I'm going to screenshot that and I'll probably post it. So like, I think today, like I've been reading, like Nana, which is like a really good, like shoujo, like manga. And I literally just took screenshots of like random parts of it and just like posted that. So some of it, obviously, you know, I didn't make Nana, so it's not really my art there. But yeah, I feel like it depends. I don't necessarily like say when it's my art or not, which I should. But a lot of the stuff, like a lot of like the words and like, I don't know, I feel like you can kind of tell. I think it's I have usually like slides of like different styles or like different color variations of some of my graphic design stuff. or other times I'll just like post like an edit that I've made. It just kind of depends on my mood. I remember like a few days ago I was like walking around the college town, and there was like a cracked window that I just took a screenshot of, and I was like, I'm just gonna post this. And I feel like it kind of still goes with the aesthetic because it's black and white and a little bit edgy. But yeah, I kind of just like, I don't know, I have a very like specific like vision, and that's just like what I enjoy, you know, like I just will post what I like, and things that I like. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's not. I think it just kind of depends. I don't really like to like take myself too seriously on the internet. I think there's a time and place for things like that, but I do like just like posting things that I like, and maybe other people will like. I post a lot of memes on there too, so that's pretty fun.
I mean, like it's a whole like aesthetic to your Instagram, just like more black and white, and yeah, I mean, stuff. It's if it reflects how like you feel about like the crack window per se, like it reflects you more so of like, you know, what you think of like music or, you know, other art.
Yeah, I definitely will like post like things that I think have deeper meaning. I learned to like not necessarily explain everything. I used to do that. I used to have like these long ass like Instagram captions of things. But I kind of like to just post things and people can take what they want from them. I also find just like quotes from like random things as well that I like, songs or whatever. But yeah, I have a few like art, I think like a little bit down like on my Instagram feed. I'd add like a lot of like art that I would do for like my design stuff, my like design minor. And that's like very symbolic, but that's like pretty in depth. So that's like something I couldn't even like really include in like an Instagram post. But yeah, a lot of like the I have my favorite type of like style is kind of like the cracked look. I love that so much. I love like the kind of like I have like a lot of like veiny art. I don't know how to explain it, but like it's very like sigilism almost. Like there's like a lot of like symbols in it. Or like mirrored back and forth, and that's like has a lot of significance in my life. And that was literally like my thesis that I did for college to graduate was based on that type of style and that what that looks like and what those kind of like figures represent.
And speaking of artwork, I want to go into like the whole like your wolf branding. What does that mean to you, and what do you think it means to those looking outside into your project?
Yeah, I started off like I'd always really liked wolves when I was younger. I thought they were really cool looking. I really like Balto the movie when I was younger. I think that's kind of like how it started. Actually, was me watching that and being like, I like this movie. And so I just really liked them. But I kind of like obviously need something more than that for my, you know, for my artists. Or I wanted something more than that. You don't need something more than that. But I wanted it to represent more in my life. I didn't know how I wanted to include wolves. I have basically like a wolf dog at home. He's not actually like doesn't have like a significant amount of wolf in him, but he looks like a wolf dog. So I kind of wanted to like pay some homage to him as well because he's like my best friend. But the like name Lupa, which is something I think like people don't necessarily know, but it's the name of the she-wolf who saved Romulus and Remus. And so I was super inspired by that story when I was younger. I actually studied Latin when I was in high school. I learned Latin. And that story like really resonated with me. I loved that story of like just like this random wolf walking around and seeing like some babies that are just in the river and saves them. But what I really thought was interesting was the name Lupa in ancient Rome turned into like a swear word for like women. Like it became a word that's like an unruly, like aggressive woman. And so it never really like changed from that. And so like a lot, it's still to this day, like She Wolf by Shakira or whatever. It's like about like an aggressive woman. There's another one by Sia, I believe, and David Guetta have a song called She Wolf as well. It's about the same thing. So I wanted to take that and I wanted to be like, you know, kind of make it for myself, at least. This is how I view the brand, but how I view the name Lupa was just kind of like taking back that idea of like being an aggressive woman or being a super like dedicated woman. Cause it's not necessarily a bad thing. But like, it really just, is about, you know, the Lupa, that the name Lupa comes from just a random wolf, you know, saving a baby. It's nothing like about aggression or about, you know, being a overbearing woman. It's just about showing kindness to something that doesn't really benefit you. But there's a lot more to like the mythology of that as well. But I just really liked the breakdown of like how the word changed itself. So I kind of wanted to like take back the word in my own way, because I thought it was a very like interesting little story about how this like savior, say the savior's name turned into like a bad word.
I mean, that I really did not know that. You know, I don't obviously study Greek mythology or Latin mythology at all, but like, I feel like a lot of names do go back to, you know, times where, you know, you would never hear this in like a normal conversation, but like in the textbooks or when you're doing your research, you know, you hear the name Lupa and then it comes up as like, oh, it's a ancient wolf, and you know that saved these Greek gods or these Latin gods, and that is like a name choice like that is so like spot on.
That's why we asked the question.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't really like talk about it that much because I think for me personally, Lupa is a very like personal thing. Like the name Lupa is very important for me. So I don't necessarily like talk about it. And a lot of people are just like, oh, it's the wolf branding, whatever. But I really like the idea of like what the wolf represents. There's a lot of, you know, like symbolism of wolves, and like I believe in like Dante's Inferno, they talk about Lupa, and Lupa is this like I think they use the word like greedy. She's like greedy, you know. And I just think it was a very interesting way of saying, you know, of describing a woman who, you know, knows what she wants and knows like that, you know, she has to make this life for herself, and you know, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a very interesting. When I first like I knew I had the name. Like when I came up with it, I was like, this is it. And I had a few other names kind of like bubbling around, and I've totally forgotten them now. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is it.
Awesome.
That's super cool. I'm glad that you found something that you can connect to so personally, and then you found like other people can connect to it through your music or art or whatever. So that's got to feel good.
It does feel very good.
So we're coming up on an hour here.
Yep.
This has just been awesome. We always like to give our guest a little parting gift / question. Really pick your brain and your music taste. So, Sean, you asked it last time. I'm asking it this time. You're on an island. You got stranded there. You can't bring 3 things. All you have is AirPods and an infinitely charged iPod Classic. Unfortunately, the iPod Classic, it's like a 16 gig or 8 gig or whatever, and you can only fit 3 albums or 3 mixes or 3 live sets or even 3 songs. What are they?
That's such a good question. I the first thing I thought of, because I'm on an island, is I think I'd have to pick a Mac Miller album, because like if I'm stranded and I'm alone, like Mac Miller makes me feel like someone's there with me.
Oh, Divine
So
Feminine.
like
I could listen to Stay on an abandoned island forever.
Yeah, I think that like I was thinking about kids, but I feel like probably swimming would be a little bit more relevant. Like I remember like whenever I'm sad, I listen to that album and I'm like all of a sudden just happy again. So I maybe Swimming, one of my favorite albums of all time. I'd say Pink Floyd The Wall, just because it's such an important album for me. I wouldn't even like listen to that much because it would just make me cry. But you know, I think that that's just such an incredible album as well that I'd have to be able to listen to it. And the last one, ooh, this is so hard. Oh my God. I'm trying to think because there's so many.
Mine's Lupa EDC Las Vegas 2023.
Okay, actually, I have an idea, and it's kind of funky. This is kind of a weird one, and it's not really expected. But there's a Dirty Bird mix by Arnold and Lane, and there's like at the 25-minute mark. I wouldn't even need the whole thing. At like the 20-minute mark, it's incredible. The whole thing's incredible. But there's this 20-minute at the 20-minute mark. If you start it, and you listen to it for like 30 minutes from that point, it's so good. It's so good. It's like it's such good house music. I listen to it all the time. It's my most listened to mix. And I don't even listen to that much house music, to be honest with you, but this mix is incredible. I think I'd have to pick that one as well. So it kind of a weird mix of things, but I have like my like, oh, I'm sad, I'm lonely, and I need someone to like, I need Mac Miller. I have like my like really sad stuff, and then I have like my time to party, like, time to party music.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good range.
And I'm definitely gonna plug Arnold and Lane because they're some of my favorite artists as well. I love their house music. It's insane, so good.
Awesome.
Are their names actually Arnold and Lane?
Yes, yeah. I just found them recently from a friend, so I love their music so much.
I wish I had the that's like if me and Sean just started DJing. We're like, yeah, we're just Tony and Sean. Like, oh, who's playing tonight at Higher Ground? Oh, it's Tony and Sean, bro. You haven't heard of them?
Well, that's good.
The generic.
You don't need to like be like, oh, like I'm like what I hate is when I meet someone, I go out and like, especially like an electronic music event or like a techno event, I'm like, oh, I'm Liz, or like, I don't want to say my name's Lupa. Like, it's so weird. But if you say like, oh, my name's, Sean, my name's Sean and this is Tony, like people are like, oh, it's Sean and Tony, like so that's something I didn't think of when I picked my name, but I don't really want to go by Liz. I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like that's right.
I'm Liz, formerly known as Lupa. Lupa formerly known as Liz.
That's funny.
That's how it is.
There's also another artist named Liz, all caps. Maybe I could be like all undercase though, or lowercase.
I'm just like thinking of other Liz's. I don't know. I don't know any Liz's.
Artist named Liz I've seen, but that's it.
Lizzo,
that's true.
Lizzo.
Yeah, I already have issues with Dua Lipa. Like, whenever I type my name, sometimes it's like the first thing. Like, did you mean Dua Lipa? I'm like, no.
Does it look like I meant to? All right, Lupa. Well, this has just been great. I appreciated you sitting down talking with us. I'm really glad that the whole video aspect worked out great. Shout out Sean and shout out his friend for hooking us up with the overlay. Shout out to Anthony for always sending us up with these great, amazing interviews with his super sweet and kind and talented artists that just span his whole roster. Yeah, we got Slain Dogs. I mean, I'm listening to Reaper earlier this morning on the drive back from the mountains. Rebel Scum has been killing it lately too. I mean, really, just you're part of a team that I feel like is curated by someone that genuinely cares, and like everyone's really there to do their thing. So like, I really wish you all the luck. I don't think you really honestly need it. But thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for all the great answers. Is there anything else you'd like to leave everyone with?
Just thank you so much for, watching, and thank you so much for supporting me. That's honestly all I could say.
Awesome. Well, as always, my name's Tony.
I'm Sean. Thank you for hopping in on Twitch or YouTube or wherever we stream this.
Or wherever, maybe this is what you take to your deserted island. You're like, oh, that Lupa Electric Talk episode is just amazing.
So banger.
Yeah.
So banger.
Talk was so good.
Chat is exploding right now.
Oh, chat's losing their freaking minds, dude. I had to mute it.
To our pre-recorded podcast.
What? This is pre-recorded?
What? Not live?
So, as always, we already said that, but it has just been so great, guys. It's just been so great. I feel a little love drunk right now. But stick around. We've got some great sponsorships with some quality companies that we would love for you to check out. And this is the end of the show.
Bye. All right, let me end the broadcast.